So welcome to Consulting Business School, and yep, we're still in lockdown, so welcome to my living room here in Sydney, Australia. This week I thought I would answer a really good question, and I hope I pronounce your name right, from Alptigin in Turkey. Really great question about big corporate clients versus SME clients, so that's coming right up. Okay, so I think it's best if I just read out this question from Alptigin in Turkey, and we'll kind of answer it as I go along. So, first of all, he says, he or she, I think it's a he, sorry if I'm misinterpreting the name there. Great videos, absolutely loved every single piece, clear and concise, yeah. Love to have your opinion on something I've been considering for some time. It's a long question. Okay. I'm working towards my PhD degree in strategic management and also planning to start a freelance gig by the time I graduate in about 2 years. Well done, PhD. I only ever got to masters. I would have loved to have done a PhD, but I didn't have the time. I've had brief experiences at 2 of the large consulting firms in the past. Great. And I've started 2 e-commerce businesses with modest sales figures. Great, so you got out there, you've got some practice in running your own business as well, along with experience at some big consulting firms. And that's really valuable because you kind of get to understand all the processes and so on that they use. However, my interest really lies in consulting, largely due to the intellectual stimulus. I've been accepted to work part-time for a consulting boutique. So I presume by that you mean a small boutique company, to offer support to more experienced consultants so that I can learn the process and relationship aspects. I wouldn't underestimate that because, there are a number of different elements that make you a really good consultant. Great education and qualifications is one, great experience is another, but you really can't underestimate the value of just working with other consultants, more experienced consultants, to actually learn the process of consulting and how to build and maintain client relationships. That's probably one of the most important things. And one of the things that I see people struggle with when they first get into consulting. They don't really understand the relationship that well, or they don't have the ability to build very strong relationships. So if you're not a people person, you're not going to make it as a consultant. Okay, on the other hand, I also have to do numerous one-on-one interviews with industry managers for my dissertation, which I believe will widen my network to be leveraged in the future. Yeah, of course, always building a network, that's great. In order to narrow my industry and subject focus, I've decided to focus on digital transformation at SMEs, small to medium enterprises. Digital transformation, since my dissertation topic and entrepreneurial experience provide some content. Okay, and SMEs, since they would more highly value the input of someone with an advanced degree compared to corporates who are full of politics and know-it-alls. Stop right there. I think you've got this the wrong way around. And that's the remark that I made when you posted this question on the channel. So you've got it in your head that small to medium enterprises are going to value someone coming and helping them, as an expert in their field. They've got a PhD. This is just my perspective, okay? I mean, I've been doing this for 25 years, fair enough, but it is just my perspective. I think it's the opposite. I think SME managers and business owners will feel threatened by you. Because of your very high level of education, and you're obviously very smart, they're going to basically feel threatened by you. Not all, but some will be. And what you have to understand is that in a lot of small to medium enterprises, the managers and owners there may not, I'm going to get slaughtered on the comments here, I know, but they may not have had the level of business education that a lot of managers do in the big corporates. That's just a big generalization. Family-owned businesses, all sorts of things, and there is a danger that this smart-ass PhD is coming in to tell them how to run their business and they're not going to like it if they hire you. A lot may not, okay? So that's, I'm just giving it to you straight. Don't just think that SMEs are going to be a lot easier to work with than big corporates. Let's flip it over then, because you've said, they're going to value you more highly compared to corporates who are full of politics and know-it-alls. Let's just spin that around again. What you find in big corporates is a very high level of education and experience amongst the management. And also what you find is that they have a lot of experience in working with consultants. So a lot of SMEs don't. And so going back to the SMEs for a moment, whatever you're charging them could be perceived as, a very high cost and a risky thing to be spending money on. With a lot of the big corporates, they're very used to using consultants. They know how to use consultants to advantage. When they want to bring in, expertise and know-how, they're doing it all the time. And they recognize the value, and they're not so put off by the price tag. And also, they are not so put off by very highly qualified people with PhDs and so on. So, just my opinion, I think you've got that the wrong way around. I think corporates would value your qualification much more than SMEs. Let's put a big caveat on this though, because you're based in Turkey, I'm based in Australia. I'm not sure, and maybe other people have a view on this. Do please comment down below. Maybe there are some cultural implications there as well. I don't know. Certainly, I'm giving you the perspective from Australian culture. I do a lot of work in Southeast Asia, and certainly there, I'd say it's the same. The big corporates value the highly qualified and experienced people probably more than smaller businesses. But I'd be very interested in your feedback as to whether you think I'm talking nonsense just from my own perspective, or maybe from a cultural perspective that's very different to yours. I'm not sure. But honestly, I think you got it the wrong way around. And then finally you say, I believe it would be a soft transition from the PhD candidate who studies the topic to the subject matter expert with a toolkit to employ. My biggest weakness will be a lack of hands-on experience as a full-time practitioner. Absolutely. And if you were going, for example, to be an independent consultant consulting with SMEs, that's going to be hard because they're going to see through that lack of experience. And that's the catch-22 in consulting. How do you get the experience so that you can demonstrate that? I think I've mentioned that on some other videos, but a really good way to do it is to join a larger company. I'm not saying a big company, but a larger company where you can work with a group and you're working with a client as part of a team, and you can use that to build up the experience. And then later you can go and do your own thing. That's exactly what I did. I think I've mentioned somewhere here on this channel, I moved from the UK to Australia, how many years ago? I don't know, about 26 years ago. And I started working with a boutique consulting company like you're planning to. They were, I think, about 60, 70 consultants at the time. I worked with them for 3 years, and then I thought, nah, I've got enough experience now where I can go out and do it on my own. And that's when I started my own company 23 years ago now, Logistics Bureau. So don't underestimate, that apprenticeship element of learning how it's done, building your experience base, your case studies and things like that. So yeah, my biggest weakness will be a lack of hands-on experience as a full-time practitioner. And I'm going to say it again, an SME owner, you've got no experience, you're straight out of university, a PhD, you're a rocket scientist. On the one hand, I'm going to feel threatened intellectually, and on the other hand, I'm thinking, you've never done this for real. Whereas you can, as part of a team working on a big corporate project, that doesn't matter so much. I believe I can bridge the gap with this strategy. I'm just saying thing again. It would be great to have your opinion. Well, I've given it to you pretty straight. And what else can I do to ramp up quickly? All the best from Turkey. Well, all the best from Australia. That was a great question. What else can you do to ramp up quickly? Oh, look, starting your own consulting business is tough. I've done it once. I've bought 2 consulting businesses. I've started one here in Australia. I've started one in Southeast Asia. I've started other businesses. Starting a business on your own is always really tough. And starting a business in a sphere where you have had no practical experience makes it tougher. So I kind of took, well, not that I ever planned to start a consulting business, but looking back on it, I went to work for a boutique consulting company for 3 years to learn it and then decided to start my own business. Looking back on it, I think that was a really good introduction to running my own consulting business. So if it was me, and given, you know, your background, I mean, you got everything going for you with the study and so on. Just a couple of years working with a consulting company is just going to give you that rounded, practical experience before you go out on your own. And I think the key point that I'd come back to you with on this question is I think you're going to be better suited to working with the big corporates than the SMEs until you've got that experience. So I hope that helped. Now, do please comment below this video, because I might have touched on a couple of things there that people disagree with. I don't know, the cultural differences, or you know, whether to work with small businesses or big ones. I'd love to hear your thoughts down below. I'd love to get questions like this, because that means I can actually be making videos that are helping people and answering the questions they really want answered, rather than me just trying to think up stuff that I think you might be interested in. So Alptigin, thank you very much for that question. It was a really great one. For those watching, if you are not subscribed to this channel, you need to be. So hit that subscribe button, hit the bell. That time, every time a new video comes out, you'll be notified. We have new videos coming out every Wednesday. Well, technically every Wednesday. They kind of get published usually on a Tuesday evening here in Sydney. And I do love to have all the comments and the feedback and the questions and so on, because that helps me keep on track and be sharing information that's of value to you all. So thank you for watching, and let's see if we get some great questions for next week too. See you next week.